is the There Is Another Way podcast from SpencerBruce.com. Making life work as a creative. Hello and welcome to this week's There Is Another Way podcast. How are you all doing out there? First off, I would like to say a massive thanks to you for all of your support and messages from last week's podcast, the 100th episode. So pleased to have gone over the 100th mark and looking forward to getting the next 100 podcasts out to you. Also, thank you to those who came to the first Creativity Kickstarter workshop. Sadly, not all those who signed up turned up, but those who did, I think we had a really productive and creative session. And thank you so much again for your feedback on the feedback forms. It was great, inspired me, and looking forward to doing the next one. Speaking of which, the next free Creativity Kickstarter workshop will be on April the 29th at 4 o'clock UK time. I will be posting a link to the Eventbrite ticket selection. There will be 6 places available this time. The tickets will be free, so they will go fast. So please do check out the Eventbrite, check out the Creativity Kickstarter website where you will find details of the events and how you can sign up. Really looking forward to it, really motivated from the last one. Had a really good session and hopefully helped those who came along. We had some great discussion and some great ideas came out of it. The other thing I would like to announce, and I hope you don't mind, is that I have just started a brand new YouTube channel called Logic Pro Workflow. So if there are any listeners out there who are Apple Logic Pro users, please do head over to YouTube and check out my Logic Pro Workflow channel. Now, I know there are many channels out there on YouTube teaching you and instructing you in Logic Pro. Now, one of the benefits of this channel is I have a whole series of videos going out called Logic Pro in under 60 seconds. And guess what? Yes, each of the tutorials will be less than 60 seconds. I know that your time is really valuable, and I know sometimes you just need to find out how to get something done, or you're just looking for a very quick tip to get you started or get you processing through something. No fluff in these videos, just direct to the point and under 60 seconds. If you are a Logic Pro user or know anyone who is, please do point them in the direction of my Logic Pro Workflow channel, or you can hit up the URL logicproworkflow.com. On with this week's podcast, and of course this week we are approaching Easter around the world, and don't worry, this isn't going to become a religious podcast or anything like that, but it did get me thinking, and I have had a topic on my list for a while to discuss with you, and it is, again, of course, an idea topic, and that is called renew. And given that we are approaching Easter and spring, and there is rebirth and renewal in the air, I thought it would be an optimum time to discuss this concept of renew. So how can you use this concept of renew? Well, as I've sat down and thought about it, there are quite a few things that jump out. But first of all, what I'd urge you and encourage you to do is to go back and look through some of your old notebooks, or perhaps wherever you keep your ideas folder. Go through it if you've not been through it for a while. Find if there's something in there that you can renew, something that you can bring back to life, something which maybe was an idea that you've frittered away in the back of a notebook. And I know that I certainly do this. I have many, many notebooks that are brimming full of ideas that I sometimes neglect and never go back to. And I use a lot of the other exercises that I have talked about on Creativity Kickstarter and many, many more that we will be discussing in the future. But sometimes it can be as simple as going back to an old notebook and finding an idea. The other way that you can think about the process of renew is perhaps you already have a work that you are happy with, or perhaps maybe were never fully happy with. How can you renew that work? How can you take that work and make it current for today? Maybe it was a work you did a year ago. Maybe it was a work you did 20 years ago. Can you take that? Can you be inspired by that piece and renew it? Can you bring it back to life? Can you give it a rebirth? Also, I don't necessarily like to talk about gear too much and buying gear, but it is something that all of us have. Could you buy something new, be it a new pencil or a new paintbrush or something small, something that will renew your feel, renew your touch, renew the way you interact with it. If you've been using something like, I'm going to say the example of a plectrum, perhaps it's time that I threw away this old plectrum I've been using for a long while and renew it with a new plectrum. As you can see, the concept of renew covers whatever your imagination takes it. How can you renew your mind? How can you renew your process? How can you renew a piece of work that you already have? How can you renew an idea? So that is the thought that I'm leaving you with this week. Renew. What are you going to renew? What are you going to give a rebirth to? What are you going to make current again? What are you going to bring back to life? I look forward to hearing what you've done and what you're going to do. And all it's left for me to say is if you celebrate Easter, have a great Easter. If you don't, have a great couple of days off. And if you're somewhere else in the world with none of these celebrations going on, have a great time anyway. I'll look forward to speaking to you next week. But most importantly, take care, my friends, and I will catch you later.